Just tell me when you sing next, Ben.
Three, two, one, now.
Dragon rushing.
I'm
Oh my
smoking.
gosh, that was a nasty combo.
That was. Oh, wait, all right.
Oh,
Let's
holy
kill the
shit,
other.
oh, let's go. I'm cap 30.
Bro, that
Dude.
sing, and then all of a sudden, like,
Dude,
they just got
the dragon
wiped,
rush is,
bro.
oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Today I'm gonna talk about a really solid early game strategy as a jungler, especially if you're playing in a 5-stack where you have kind of a 1-1-3 lane. You could also use this in a 2-1-2, especially in solo queues. I'll talk a little bit about why this might be a little tough in solo queue. So how this works is you're actually ganking really early as a jungler. I will say I'm not a professional jungler by any means, but I did glean some of these strategies from professional players such as that boy Muck, and going against some really strong opponents too. A little struggle on my jungle clear here. I'm definitely messing up here a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. It does matter for timing purposes, but just for this example, we can see that it can still work even if you're messing up your jungle clear a little bit. So what you do is you actually jungle, or you gank as a jungler really early, depending on what side you're on. So I started off here on the sandy side. I am going to grab both buffs. So you can get your blue buff at the bottom first, and then you just get your red buff, go straight away, ignore your crabs, and then go and try to steal monkey or push off the opposing Lucario or top laner, etc. So as you can see here, now I'm still level 5. My teammate is also level 5. And if you look at their Lucario, they're only level 4. They didn't get a cap off, and then they also didn't get one of the monkeys they should have gotten. Because of that, we have a big advantage going into this fight, and able to take out their Lucario. I'm now 6 as well, and able to push back this Cinderace quite a bit. So kind of a slower jungle clear on my end. Could have gotten there a little sooner, but essentially the gist of it is you want to get to that top lane early, even in your first stage evolution as a Charmander. You'll still hit level 5 if all things go well, and you essentially put pressure on the top lane. As you can see on the minimap there, my teammate had vision on their junglers. So I was able to cap a 30 off there too. So really making a huge advantage early on that game, which can definitely snowball towards late game as well. All right, so I'm going to showcase a different Pokemon here using Ralts here instead of Charmander. It pretty much works with any jungler. Again, we are on the sandy side, so on the sandy side you do get the blue buff first on the bottom, and because of that reason, based on the pathing, you might as well just take the red buff and then you go straight up top. I'll talk about why it'll be a little different on the grassy end after the clip after this next one. But as you can see here, just clear both as soon as possible, go straight up as a first stage evolution. You could also go through the mini choke point through the jungle, but you want to go through the lane instead. Main reason is you want that speed boost from the speed flux there. And as you can see here, I'm going to do my best to harass this Lucario as much as possible. Unfortunately, was not able to out-secure him, but able to do quite a bit of damage here. And my teammate is back to kind of help. And you can see from our teammates, my teammates level 2, I think they won the neutral as well. And as you can see here, we are able to finish off this kill. Now, I was not able to turn level 5 here, and I can't really go grab a crab at this point because bees are up, so I decided to just come back. I just need one bee to really evolve here, but the thing is, if their Lucario dies right before bees, you have a much easier job securing. And in this situation, their jungler was actually bot side, so we pretty much got all the bees for free. And their Lucario got none of that, so that's a huge advantage. Even if their jungler came up, it's still a 2v1, and you just don't have time to grab a crab at that point. But in my opinion, I think that's a worthy trade-off if you can secure the kill on their top laner. All right, so in the third situation here, we are going to do the same clear path as well as before, still the sandy side. So if you've seen this the third time, you'll know kind of the general routine here. This, like I said before, this strategy could work for a 2-1-2 lane as well. You might not get a kill, you might not deny nearly as much farm, but you do help alleviate some of the pressure your top laner will deal with, especially if you're running a 1-1-3. This strategy is not nearly as useful if you're running a 2-1-2 because you might be pushing onto their side. There might not be nearly as much farm to deny, etc. So in this situation, the opposing Lucario is not even here. So because of that, I'm just going to scout out a little bit, and I'm going to grab my bottom crab. Or top crab, sorry. As also the bottom crab, something to note is you should tell your bot laners to grab it if they're able to, because there's experience if they have the time to. This Lucario does come in for a quick cap right here, but either way, I still turn level 5 because of how much time's gone by, the natural experience for over time. I was able to get 5 without getting 2 crabs there. And I was just able to get off of 1. Now we able to really capitalize on that still. And again, in this situation, the jungler was in bot lane, so able to secure those pretty quickly. But again, the Lucario kind of went for a very risky cap there, which did not pay off. Now we're going to look at the Grassy Side here, and on the Grassy Side, it's going to be a little different. And in my personal opinion, I personally like the sandy side more because you don't have to go back to your base. But in this situation, you do have to go back to your base, and I'll kind of tell you why here. So based off the position here, you don't really have time to grab the red buff after getting this blue buff, especially if you're playing on Gank in the top lane. And because of that, you just got to go straight up after you get that first blue buff. But based on the timing of this, because you don't have to get a red buff, you are able to challenge both these monkeys rather than just one of them. I was able to push off my opponent there and grab the monkey on top of it. They're going to retreat there, and you want to come back. Very important to note is you want to come back at the latest at 9:20. You want to teleport straight back, because if you go any later, there's a strong likelihood you will not be able to clear this red buff and get to the top lane in time. Now, luckily, I was able to grab that monkey, which helps me tremendously, because then I could hit level 5 without getting any crabs. But I still have time to grab one of them, so I'm going to go straight there. So again, denied one monkey, denied a cap. If you look at the level difference here, you'll see that their Lucario is still 4, not even 4.5. Our teammate's Lucario is almost 5.5 at this point. We have a huge advantage going into this fight, and then able to win this 2v2 right there, and also cap 30 right there. I mentioned earlier why this might be a little tougher in solo queue. It is definitely possible, but if you have the Grassy Side, for example, you're leaving that red buff for a potential teammate to steal it. They might think that you're just not making good use of the jungle, and they might just grab it for farm, and you might not be able to get that crucial red buff if you're on the Grassy Side. On the desert side, on the sandy side, you could grab still both buffs. You might lose out on the crabs, but that's not really the end of the world, because someone has to take at least a bottom crab anyway, and hopefully you can secure a monkey or grab your own top crab and you'll be fine. So again, same thing. Now here's where you don't want to do that early gank, is when you're getting invaded, especially on the Grassy Side. On the sandy side, you're going for both buffs anyway, so it's not a big deal. But on the Grassy Side, typically you go straight up after that buff. But if you have an invader like this situation, jungle invader, sometimes is Hoopa, sometimes is Greedent, you are going to be just giving up free farm to the opposing team. So because of that, I chose not to do that early gank, and that's fine because one of their lanes is weaker because one of their Hoopas is invading here too. Me and my teammate are able to finish off this Hoopa here, which is pretty big, and then still able to show up for the bees. Unfortunately, not able to put any pressure on the top lane, but my teammate is still able to get to level 5, which is pretty crucial. And yeah, after that, we just engage, and that's pretty much it. So again, this is a really solid strategy in my opinion. I've seen a lot of top junglers use this strategy. It puts a lot of early pressure on those top lane Lucarios and top lane Greedents, etc. It really just depends on what it is. Again, it still could work against a 2-1-2, but it won't nearly be as effective because you won't be able to steal farm as easily. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this strategy video. Hopefully it works for you as well. And yeah, just practice a lot and you'll get better at it over time.